video is part of the Tasty Taco series. So what we've made in the other videos is we made our taco toppings, and in another video we made the plate and the tortilla shells by flicking black paint on this. But in this video, I'm going to put these toppings to the side, and we're just going to focus on placing our tortilla shells onto our plate. So what we need to do first is cut out our plate and also cut out our tortilla shells. So the first thing I'm going to cut out actually is the plate. So I'm cutting around the plate, following along with it. Alright, so there's my plate. I'm going to give you a couple of seconds while I throw away my trash. Alright, so you have your plate cut out. What you need to do next, can you guess? Yep, we're going to cut out our tortilla shells. Now you probably made your tortilla shells a little bit bigger than mine, or you probably made them small like this. That's okay. These don't really need to be huge. We're not making a big giant burrito. Okay, I got one tortilla shell done. Alright, now I got my second tortilla shell. Alright, now I'm on to my very last tortilla shell. Alright, so I've got all three of my tortilla shells cut out. Again, I'm going to give you a couple more seconds to finish up cutting them. I'm just going to adjust this real quick, folks. Okay. Alright, so we've got our taco shells and we got our plate. What you're going to need is liquid glue. Alright, I'm going to give you a couple seconds to get that glue out while I zoom in so that you can see clearly of what you need to be doing. Alright, so what we need to do with our tacos is we need to glue our shells to where they can be open, waiting for our toppings. So what we need to do first is you're going to glue a certain amount of glue on here in a certain way. I would start with the middle taco first, or you can work from left to right. It doesn't really matter which way. But you're going to need to put a line of glue down the middle either way. So I'm going to put those to the side, and I'm actually going to work left to right actually. So twist the glue bottle up. I'm just going to make a bumpy kind of line with my glue all the way across. And then I'm going to take my taco, and I'm going to put this actually in the middle, so that I know where the middle of my plate is. Right? Now, this next step that you're going to do is going to be a little tricky. So what I do is I just gently fold this a little bit. Because what you're going to do with this is you're going to glue it to where it's open like this. So again, you're going to make a wavy line with your glue bottle onto the back of the taco, and you're going to place it right over here. Now it's going to want to push the taco shell away, but we really need it to stay in place. Alright, again we're going to do the exact same thing on the other side of this taco. Again, lift that up to where it looks like an actual standing taco. If you've ever seen those tacos that can stand up, it kind of needs to be a taco like that. Right, and when we add toppings into here, it should help this stand up a little bit. Right. So what I recommend is don't play with the tacos too much. Kind of let them sit there for a couple minutes. And if you haven't made your toppings yet, this would probably be a good opportunity to probably work on them. And as you cut them out, apply them to this so that you don't lose your toppings, and also it keeps them stretched out. Now, when you're gluing your toppings to this, I recommend you first put the toppings in the middle one, because this is the one that has the most weight and it needs something in the middle to keep it open. So, let me pull my toppings out again. So I have my lettuce using accordion fold. If you've seen my video where I show you how to make the toppings, I showed you how to make the accordion fold. But since it's been a while since I've had these out, the accordion fold kind of unfolded itself. So I might have to fix those before I put them on my tacos. I also have my limes, my peppers, my tomatoes, and my jalapenos. And as I work, I might have to make some more. And I've got my meat. Now, it's up to you of which one you want to start with first. What I'm going to start with is, let me think. So as you're building this, you're going to be constantly adding glue to this, but what I recommend is that you don't apply too much glue to this, but you are going to need a fair amount. So, also, you're going to need to cut all your toppings out before you start putting glue on this thing, because you can't just draw your toppings, put the glue on here, and try to cut it as quickly as possible. So it helps if your toppings is already cut out. Unfortunately, I didn't think of that before I started this, so I'm going to have to cut the meat out before I start gluing down. If you already have your toppings already cut out, awesome. You're much more prepared than I am. So I'm actually going to cut 3 pieces of meat out, because I drew enough to where I can put 3 pieces of meat on here for each taco. Alright, so I'm going to start with this one, the middle taco to begin with, because it's already looking like it's about to come undone. Alright, so again, I'm going to twist my glue bottle lid up. Let me push this up so that you can easily see this. Alright, so I'm going to just put a little bit of, if the glue will come out, a little bit of glue in here. I'm going to treat it like sauce and just make a squiggly line like that. And I'm just going to place my toppings in there. I might just have to just put 2 in here. And I'm kind of making it look like the meat's kind of spilling out, because sometimes the meat spills out of tacos sometimes. And again, I'm kind of dripping the glue in there like sauce, but I'm not putting a whole lot, because I don't want a lot of glue sticking out. Now, with the lettuce, what you might do is trim the lettuce a little bit. You might even cut it where it's smaller, so it's not pieces sticking out. And gently push it to where it touches the glue, because some part of it needs to touch it so that it's not falling off, so it's not loose. So if you love messy projects, this is a fun messy project to do with kiddos or with your sibling when you're like trying to teach them how to make tacos. Like if your parents are making tacos one night and you want to make paper tacos with your sibling, like they want to help, but your parents are telling you, hey, can you please distract your siblings or keep them occupied so that they're not running around in the kitchen. This is a great project to do with your siblings to distract them. Alright, so right now I'm going to cut out a few tomatoes, because I don't want just beef tacos and lettuce. I want some other toppings. You could also put a good amount of glue onto your toppings that you want to put in there. If you're feeling like, you know what, I don't think the toppings are really sticking to it very well. So I've got some tomatoes. I'm going to put some jalapenos in there. And again, don't play around with this too much. Wait until it dries before you go all playing with it, so that you can see what's glued down and what you need to fix. Okay, so while that's drying a little bit, before I can add more toppings to that, I'm just going to start adding some toppings over here. Now, what you might do is you might decide to trim your toppings a little bit to make them a little bit smaller if you're feeling like, that's humongous, I don't want that to be so huge compared to my little teeny tiny tacos. Right, place some meat in there. Maybe get some more meat. And one idea that you could do is you can also take your yellow paper that you had your tortilla shells on, and you can like make cheese. However, you're going to have to be very careful because that makes a huge giant mess. But with tacos, you get messy when you have tacos. Excuse me. Now, one thing that I'm going to show you next in a second is what you can also do on the outside of your plate. Like, what can you put alongside of it? If you've ever been to a Mexican drive-in, like King Burrito, sometimes they have limes or peppers on the side. So what I'm going to do with this chili pepper is I'm going to actually cut it out and I'm going to glue it onto my actual plate to make it look like a special side to it. And if you have any leftover brown paper after making your meat, you can always make a squiggly circle basically and make it look like fried beans, because I love fried beans and rice with my tacos, especially if I'm having fajitas. I love refried beans with rice. Okay, so I'm going to glue this right here, and I'm going to cut out my line. Now, one thing that I didn't show in the toppings video with these toppings is you can always take your crayon and add some detail to this. Like, you can add some white to make this lighter, or add some yellow, because sometimes the lime is a lot lighter than this. Or you could take a green crayon and color this green if you want. But again, it's up to you. It is your taco. Like I always tell my students, it's your drawing. You get to decide. You are the artist. I'm just here to give you the tools and to teach you the different ways that you could possibly do it. Alright, so far that is my taco so far. Now, I'm going to basically end it here so that you can get started on making your taco. So, happy taco building!